everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the HeartSpace podcast with myself, Jasmine, and my beautiful co-host, Alicia here.
Good, guys.
And today we have a special guest with us, the very talented singer-songwriter from Christchurch, Juana, Kino. Thank you for being here today.
Woohoo! You're very welcome. It's awesome to be here.
Oh, and it's so great to have someone from your industry talk about how, COVID and the mandates and, all the fuckery that's been happening within New Zealand over the past 2 years has affected that industry. So thank you for your time this morning.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So let's start off with a little bit about yourself and your background and how you got into the music industry.
I'm 31 years old. I've been singing all my life, but I only started doing it professionally when I was 27, which is quite late in the music scene, in the music industry. Sort of, they want you to start when you're a teenager and then you're pretty much a big star by 30.
Wow.
But
you still managed to punch through there because, the songs you wrote.
I was quite lucky because I started doing music when I was a teenager, hoping to be singing professionally by 20, but I had 2 kids and then I took 10 years off to grow them up. And then when I did decide to get back into it, everyone was just waiting there.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, like, finally, sweet, here.
Divine timing.
Wow.
And you've still got a young look about you and feel like your personality.
Oh, really? Oh, thanks.
I've met Juana in person and she's just so eccentric and vibrant. She's got an awesome vibe.
Thank you.
So how did you start with, what did you start writing your own songs and then
so I have a lot of producer friends and a lot of engineer friends and videographer friends, and they said, well, it's pretty much time. It's now time. We need you now. So I was like, okay then. So I just went to my friend's house and he pretty much just gave me free range over all of his beats that he made. And he's like, just pick whatever you want. I was like, okay then. So I picked 7 and then instantly just started writing to them because I don't pre-write songs and then match it to a beat. I just get a beat and then freestyle it and write it straight away. Yeah. So I have a 7-song album, and literally it took me one day to write each song. And then when I wrote it that day, the next day I was in the studio recording it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
I think
it's easy too.
That shows real talent too, being able to do it, just on the spot like that, and it's that raw talent, and that's what you hear from your sound. That's what I really liked about you. Like, I went away from, because we met at a gig here in Rotorua that my husband was doing.
Yeah.
I went away and I was like, I just, because usually I have to hear a song a few times before I like it, but straight away, like song after song, I was like, oh my God, this is a good song. Oh, and this one too. So I came home and downloaded your songs on Spotify. And I just think to have that talent in New Zealand, would you say it's hard to penetrate the music industry here?
Yes, very. So it's literally not what it's not how good you are at singing or good you are at playing instruments or making beats or stuff like that. It's who you know. Yeah. So lucky for me, I did know the people that had their foot in the door and were with the people that are on the other side of the door. But me, I just didn't really grasp the concept of pretty much sucking music industry dicks. So
nicely put.
Pretty much, if you are in there with the top dogs, you're doing what they're doing and you're pretty much kissing their ass. So I was like, oh, do I have to? Yeah.
Beat your own drum too. And and what has been happening in terms of the music scene, and going back to last year when the mandates were dropped, how did it affect your where you were headed with your career? Did it put a jolt in things?
I put a massive jolt. The first lockdown was, I just come back from a trip from Waiheke Island doing a gig up there with heaps of cool people like Mellow Downs, Tully, heaps of heaps of people like that, and I was hanging out with the big dogs, not doing bad things or anything like sucking dick or anything, but hanging out with them, and they liked me for me. So they were like, yeah, definitely keen to get you on gigs and stuff like that. But then the first lockdown happened, and that put a big setback on pretty much my production, because the studio got shut down, and because the studio got shut down, we weren't making any money. So that put a big setback in not just my career, but a lot of my friends, because a lot of my friends, we're not vax, we're quite anti-vax sort of. And we're not going to get a jab in our arm to, be able to sing on stage and make money. So, yeah, that put a big setback. The second one was when I picked the ball up again and it was rolling hard out, doing gigs like every weekend, flying all over New Zealand. And then the mandates came in. Yeah, and a lot of me and my friends stopped touring, going around New Zealand doing gigs and stuff, because we're not going to put a needle in our arms. Yeah.
And it's crazy, like just how a lot of people, not just in the music industry, but other different career avenues, their lives were put on hold, or they were made to face that decision, which ultimately, if they held out a few more months, like it is now, the mandates are kind of become transparent. They're dropping at the moment, even though they're enforced in some places. So like just the fuckery of that, like people that really didn't want it, that ended up getting it, and then later on down the track having it be all reversed. It's kind of like, a punch to the soul, really, because a lot of people didn't want to have it. But, I really want to applaud you for standing your ground, and many other artists that did stand their ground and make that stance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
You got to be strong with that kind of stuff. You can't be coerced or forced or.
And what was your stance on not having it? Why were you skeptical?
Well, I've been skeptical of all vaccines all my life, because I reckon, because I've got epilepsy, I definitely think that the vaccines I had as a child helped that along. Maybe if my mum didn't get me my vaccines, I wouldn't have epilepsy. My kids aren't vaccinated. They're fine. They're doing great. They're still alive. They're a lot smarter than a lot of kids, not, pretty much bragging, but a lot of children that have had the vaccine are like
immune compromised. They get sick.
Yeah, they get very sick. Yep.
Yeah.
Well.
And there's so many flags going around at the moment too. A lot of people aren't just getting COVID, like there's a new flu going around, and it just makes me skeptical. Is this because of the vaccine? We hear rumors about COVID. Of course, I don't know that for sure. I'm just, we're just purely speculating in this conversation. But you've got to, it makes you think, we had normal winter bugs, and this year it feels like it's on steroids. People are going to hospital over the flu, and it's like, is it because of this jab, or is it because of the shedding? We've got to ask these questions, but we're not even allowed to ask these questions. We're not even allowed to have these conversations. And that's another thing that makes me question the transparency of how the government has handled COVID and the vaccine rollout, and now they're saying we might need a fourth bloody booster. It's like, when is it going to end? I'm like, it's crazy. And it's like, people aren't clicking, especially the ones who have been triple jab, caught COVID, and still got COVID. If it was polio, would we still be sitting here getting, lining up for a vaccine? Would we, it's just the madness, and people not being able to see through the lies and the bullshit. It's frustrating. It really is
frustrating.
I think a lot more people are starting to see through it now, though. It's funny, I've got quite a lot of friends that have been watching me speak about this shit since 2020. A lot of them are still gone and got their jab, but they're saying, no, just a second, I'm not getting my booster. No, not the booster. I'm thinking through the shit now. So this goes to show a lot of people that were they just felt that they had no choice. They literally felt like they had no choice. Now these people are like, oh, now we can see through the bullshit. No, not going to get the booster. There's unfortunately going to be people that are still going to sit there And I don't want to listen to those conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
They're just not going to wake up, and that is the duality of it. Like everybody's got a place and purpose to fill in this whole show.
Yeah, it literally is a show.
Yeah.
To say. And unfortunately, some of those are not going to wake up. They're going to be the ones that are just going to be like, oh, okay,
just go along with it.
Go along with it. It is what it is. But
Yeah.
I think I remember saying to someone last year, actually quite a few people, I'm like, oh, you know what? Like, you're going to become the minority very soon. And then they laughed at me. And now I'm just looking at everything. I'm like, but they are. There's more people that are waking up and they can see through it.
Yeah.
And they're very it's flipped. It's flipping.
Yep.
It is flipping. Yeah.
Yeah. Big
Thank
massive
God.
awakening happening. It's great. I like it.
Sorry, my
I've been a
dog's
conspiracy theorist since I was like an early teenager. So because I grew up with an atheist mother, but a hardcore Christian nana.
Wow.
So a lot of the things that are in the Bible are actually kind of coming true now.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
heaps of the stuff that my nan taught me when I was a little kid are coming true, and a lot of the stuff that my mum said is coming true. And that was
I guess
like
it's a good balance.
15, 16 years ago when I was starting to dabble in the conspiracy theory world.
Well, that was going to be my next question, is like, where does your family and your support system around you sit with the agenda that's playing out right now? Do you have a lot of people?
I've pretty much dropped all my sheeple friends and the sheeple people in the music industry. What happened was a lot of my friends got the jab so they could carry on music, and they're doing great. Like, good on them for doing great. But then they started looking down on me like, why don't you get the jab? Like, why aren't you here on stage with us? I'm like, I don't want to get the jab. And then so I tried to get a medical mandate, but because it's very hard to get a medical mandate, even though I've got epilepsy, my doctor and the other doctors pretty much said, well, you've got to have the first jab, and if you have a reaction to that, if you start having seizures and stuff because of that, then we'll give you the medical mandate. I was like,
crazy.
Yeah, it is true, because I spoke to my doctor too, and they're like, oh no, you pretty much have to have the first jab, and if you have a severe reaction to that, I'm like, so I have to take that risk.
Yeah. I pretty much want to put you guys up as guinea pigs and then see what happens. It's just and like, just for how is it ethical as a doctor to put their patients at risk like that?
Yeah, they're paid to do that though. Yeah. Customers are sick and they buy the pharmaceuticals. So if we don't have sick customers, then we're not going to sell our pharmaceuticals.
100%, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so one thing that you were really excited about, I heard before these mandates came out, was you were about to open for Catch a Fire and Sons of Zion.
Yes. Yeah, that was one of my big ones. That was one of my dreams. Like, I love Catch Fire and Sons of Zion.
Yeah.
And I was super, super excited, pretty much preparing, ran practice like every second day for the manager of the whole entire gig to say, have you got your vax? I'm like, no. I don't have my vax. And he's like, yeah, I've had to go and get mine, because he was meant to be anti-vax with me. But he went and got his because he wouldn't even be able to do his show if he didn't get the vax. And that would have been a lot of money, time wasted for him. But yeah, I was like, no, sweet as, I'll just put one of my vax mates in my place. So I put one of my vax mates in my place for the gig. Yeah.
That's a lot. That's like, it just goes to show where you stand. Like, you stand so like hearty in your truth and against, you're not going to go along with the narrative. And like, that's a huge sacrifice. What you sacrifice. I mean, that's been one of your dreams. Yeah. Like, and a lot of people makes me kind of laugh, because a lot of people like, but I want to go to the bars. I want to go to the club.
Yeah. I've had a few mates say that.
Yeah. I mean,
I want to go to concerts, and LOB's coming next week. I need to go to that next month. Like, I need to go. Yeah.
Yeah. So this goes to show like what you sacrificed, you know, as a music artist, and you know who you could be opening up for, and all. I mean, that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge.
You know,
it was literally like thousands of dollars, all the gigs that I had lined up. So I had another one called Meadow Park Views, I think it was, and that had big stars as well, like Mellow Down, Scribe, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lady Six and all that, and I had to give that one up, so I just put my other Vex mate in my place.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, your mate owes you, I think.
Oh yeah, a lot of my mates owe me, but oh well. And then I had another one called Electric Ave, and that was Electric Ave's like the biggest festival in the South Island for summer.
Oh.
And that one didn't get, but that actually got cancelled. But if the COVID stuff didn't happen, I would have been on that stage, and
Wow.
where I wanted to be.
Where are you at now that things are starting to kind of clear with the mandates?
Pretty much just getting back on stage doing cover songs. So
Nice.
I'm pretty much starting all over again. We have a new studio now, which is going pretty good. Got a new album coming out. Should be out by December.
Oh,
hopefully by then I would have gotten on stage a few more times to pretty much be reborn.
And what's the feel for this new album? Do you think you've taken a lot of what you've gone through in the last couple of years and put it into this album?
No, because a lot of people did that. So at the start, 2020, I made a song pretty much to Jacinda Ardern before people were making songs to Jacinda Ardern, because I could see through the bullshit. So I was just waiting for all the lockdowns and stuff to happen so I could write the song and put it out. But then because it wasn't so popular, nobody liked it, and everyone loved Jacinda then. So they were like, what a bitch. That's not very nice to say about her. It's like, well, she's a part of the Freemasonry, so why would I care what she says? And they're like, well, she's the Prime Minister. Look at what she's doing. It's great. I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
The same one before her, and the one before her, and the one before him, and the one before him, and
they're all same. What is it? The same feather, two wings of the same bird.
Yeah.
Whatever you're saying.
Same feather. Yeah.
Yes, it's the one.
Did you start learning? Sorry.
Sorry.
No, you go. Sorry.
No, I think like music was a good way to express what was happening, because I mean, even in 2020, me and my mate, I mean, we made a rap. We obviously didn't get it recorded or anything, but I remember going over there, was sitting there writing lyrics and everything, because I'm quite into that stuff as well. And I was like, this is me. We need to get this recorded. And like it just turns out like so many people turn to music as an outlet. Like people were angry, like instead of swearing and carrying on, like I don't know, whatever, but like music was the way to do it, because music is also frequency. So it's a good way, it's a good outlet.
Pretty much vent.
Yeah. And you can get away with it a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I can't get away with it. I'm on my last band on Facebook. If you get more than 9 30-day bans, your Facebook gets wiped, and I need it for my music.
Yeah.
So I haven't been saying anything for like 6 months.
It's hard keeping
at all. I'm on my last ban. I got like an email and everything saying,
really?
You are on your last ban. If you get one more ban, your Facebook account will be deleted permanently. I was like, oh, wow. I didn't even know.
I've been banned heaps. Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go through and count how many 30-day bans I've had.
I better count, because if it gets to 9, your account gets deleted. And I've just been so goody-good, because I've actually prepared for it to get deleted, because they pick on me for anything. I could say fuck or bitch, and they would give me a 30-day ban. So I've just been saving all my stuff, all my photos to my drive and all my videos.
I've got to start doing that actually, because I've had a few warnings. Backing stuff up, because you don't realize how much of your life is on there. Like all my kids' baby photos. I haven't actually physically printed them. They're all on Facebook. So just giving me something to think about and do.
Go save all the best ones to the drive, and then.
Where else can people find you other than Facebook? Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, Spotify, YouTube, Apple iStore. Just Google me. If you type in Juana Kino, I'll come up with all my socials and all the platforms that I'm on, and photos and interviews and stuff.
Oh, great. Oh, cool. And what there was a question I was going to ask, just going back when you were speaking about how you knew about Jacinda before, you know, the rest of us kind of caught up. What was your why were you skeptical of her? Did you just know about the Freemasons?
Oh, yeah, I just know. Well, it all started with when 9/11 happened, and I was only like, I don't know, 10 or 11 when that happened. I remember taking the day off school because my mum, she's Christian, and my stepmom is Christian, so this is all like, you know, the Bible like stuff. The twins will collapse, and it was the Twin Towers that collapsed. And
wow.
Yeah, so that's when it started, all my conspiracy theory stuff with George Bush, pretty much. Researching back into George Bush's family tree, all that stuff. If you go back further enough, it goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. So and then with New Zealand, I just was doing research about that. Pretty much started with Helen Clark. So Helen Clark, I don't know, when was that? When she was Prime Minister and left to be the New Zealand representative in the United Nations.
Yeah.
You can't just do that and be a normal person. So you have to come from a specific bloodline to be in specific groups and what were once secret societies, et cetera, et cetera. So Jacinda Ardern used to be her little puppet. I believe that Jacinda Ardern is related to Helen Clark, like a niece.
They look like they could be.
Yeah, look at those teeth, got those teeth, Gil. Yeah, so that kind of stuff runs in the family. So, and you would look at all of them, the Queen, all them, they've all got weird teeth like that. So family traits, birds of the same feather flock together. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And so where do you think you want to head with your career in the next couple of years? What are you hoping for?
All those doors that were still there, the pies are still there. I just have to find friends who have their whole entire hand, not a finger in that pie, to pretty much hook back up with now that the mandates are ending. But I'm not getting too excited. I just want to smash this album out because apparently we're going to go into another lockdown anyway. So
I've heard little rumours about that too.
Yep. With this whole monkeypox thing.
Oh, I know.
It's a joke, hey?
I'm pretty I watched a not like a documentary, like what we're doing now, like a podcast, and this guy had a doctor on who explained that monkeypox is pretty much a form of shingles that is linked to the vaccine as a potential side effect. So it's so they're just trying to cover their tracks at the moment.
Pretty much.
Crazy. So,
I love the rumors that come out about all these things, like COVID came out because someone ate a bat. This one is apparently someone had sex with a monkey. I thought that's how AIDS came around. They're like run out of stories that they're just bringing out old stories, giving them new names.
Well, apparently AIDS is in the vaccine. So
intertwined, eh? It's just so many layers. Like there's so many
I'm getting my head against something, just like fucking stop.
Well, lucky we're unvaccinated.
Yeah.
You ain't got AIDS. I'm pretty sure we're not having sex with unprotected sex with random people.
Well, thank you so much for being here today and sharing your story. I think it's, a good look into how things did affect that particular industry and a lot of other industries too, like
heaps.
We're in the same boat. Like even with the health sector, like we're short-staffed at the moment and the hospitals are, really feeling it.
Yes.
But it's all part of the agenda, It is. It's all what they wanted. They wanted us to
control and scared.
Absolutely. But I think what's your message you'd like to get out to people with, how to look at everything that's playing out at the moment?
Just don't be a sheeple.
Cut out.
Don't be a sheeple. Don't be afraid to do research. Do research.
Yeah.
And make sure that you make the right decisions, not just for you, but the future generation as well. And don't be afraid to go back to the bush, because one day I'm going to skip off there.
Yeah. But I'll be joining you. I just got to learn to live without my hair straightener.
Oh, no. Over the last 2 years, I've been learning to live without things that have become a part of my daily life, like hair straighteners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Simple life. Yeah. Growing gardens and stuff like that.
that's how it was meant to be before all these distractions came into play. You know, it's getting back to Mother Earth and being in touch with, you know, just our, like, the Indigenous people and how they all grew up and lived here.
Yeah, and I fully agree. Yeah, it's hard though. Like,
it is.
Yeah, I feel like I've become an absolute, like, prime example of a product to, like, with my phone. Like, even I've been taking a couple of days, like, away from my phone because I'm just so used to just getting on it just to look on. I'm like, stop. I need to put my phone down. Like, just all these things that they have conditioned us into feeling like we need these things now, but we don't. Yeah. We just need to go back to basics. Live off.
Not even that, just like using it smartly, you know, not letting it like take over your life. Like, if you are able to have some kind of restraint and not be on, you know, binge watch things or be on your devices for long periods of time, you know, if you can have that restraint, that's even something.
It's only half an hour. I have to take you for a little walk. My phone's dying.
That's all right. We'll end things here anyway, sis. Thank you so much for your time. And
you're definitely welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And, you know, I wish you all the best going forward. And I can't wait to hear the new music that you're dropping.
Yeah, I can't wait either. It's going to be a banger.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Much love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.